Hello writers, come write with me. My name is Mykela Greenwood. I create worlds for mind adventures. Welcome to my channel, Write with Mykela. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell so you can go on this journey with me. If this is your first time joining me, then I'm excited to have you here on my channel. If you've been here from the beginning or somewhere along the journey, I'm glad you're returning. Today we are going to discuss a few terms or ideas, and then we will add to your stories with a down soldier. The first term or idea is benevolent or benevolence. The first word is an adjective and the second is a noun. We will focus more on the adjective because we know those describe nouns and describe characters, because a character is a noun, a person, place, thing, idea, that kind of thing. So we want to be able to describe our characters. Benevolent means well-meaning and kindly. If you're talking about an organization, then it would mean serving a charitable rather than a profit-making purpose. Benevolent means having a desire to do good or organized for the purpose of doing good. Some synonyms are kind, kind-hearted, warm-hearted, tender-hearted, good-natured, gracious, tolerant, benign, compassionate, caring, sympathetic, considerate, and the list goes on and on. Does that sound like a quality for your antagonist or your protagonist? That would be our protagonist or our hero in most stories. Remember, there are different types of protagonists, so this probably wouldn't do for a villain protagonist. Leave a comment on a person or character that you know that is benevolent. Now, let's look at malevolent. Malevolent means having or showing a wish to do evil to others. This is also an adjective, so it's describing nouns. Another meaning would be causing or wanting to cause harm or evil. Some synonyms are abhorrent, amoral, dissolute, or desolate, however you pronounce that, nefariousness, no more Mr. Nice Guy, that's an idiom, obscene, turpitude, we've looked at that word before, unconscionable, can't speak today, non-ethical or unethical. Does this sound like a quality for your protagonist or your antagonist? If you've watched many of my videos, then you know this is for your antagonist. You also know that some antagonists feel they are right in what they do and not that they are pursuing evil. Surely there could be arguments on both sides for Magneto from the movie X-Men. Some will see that Magneto is just trying to protect himself and mutants. But some will argue, go back to that. He's trying to protect himself and mutants because he will even go after mutants that he thinks are against the mutants that he's with. Okay? Some people on the other side will argue that he is malevolent. I think Professor X's character hopes to get through to Magneto so that he sees that humans and mutants can work together and live together. He doesn't see Magneto as malevolent because he knows what he and Magneto went through as boys. And Professor X knows that Magneto hasn't forgiven the humans who hurt him. So he doesn't feel like there's evil inside or that the purpose is evil. It's just a protection, like no, 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 I'm going to protect. You're not going to hurt me. You're not going to get near me. So he feels that Magneto is just kind of acting in fear and protection of himself than in evil. So, I leave you, the writer, with the question, how evil is your antagonist? Is he or she malevolent? Is he or she savable? Even if your antagonist isn't savable, does your protagonist hope to save the antagonist? Leave a comment on a character that is malevolent, or say your opinion on Magneto. Now, remember, everyone has their own perspective. There's no right or wrong. I can see it this way, you can see it that way. That doesn't matter. We just need opinions. And then if you do have a different opinion from me, then I look at your opinion and that helps me to broaden my view and to broaden what I can write about. It helps me to see a different opinion, because not everybody in the world is Mykela Greenwood. Most people aren't. Nobody else is, actually. So I'm the only one. So it doesn't mean that people won't agree with this opinion or that opinion, but nobody in this world is going to agree with every single opinion that I have. But if I only know my opinion and I don't know how other people think, I can't write a story unless I have a one-character story. And that's no fun. One character and that's it? Who are they going to talk to? The trees? The grass? Some of my characters do that, but that's beside the point. So if you want lots of characters, then you're going to have lots of perspectives. So when we leave opinions and comments down below, we don't argue or put somebody down about that. We just leave our opinion and then we read the others to get a different point of view so that it can help us as writers. There's no right or wrong on perspective. Perspective is perspective. Now, those were some wonderful terms and choices. And I'm going to throw this thought in. If your protagonist is benevolent, then he or she isn't going to kill or get rid of the antagonist because of hate in his heart or her heart. You know, this hate so much, they're going to kill. No. They act in love. Protagonists act in love. We're talking about the hero protagonist, not the villain protagonist. They act in love and protection for those under their care. Excuse me. If they hate the antagonist so much that becomes their only focus, right? I gotta get him, gotta knock him out. Then they lose their benevolence. And they very well can become a replacement antagonist. You kill that bad guy, and then what happens? You step up into their place, and you take that place. So then where's your protagonist at that point? So you got to be careful. Make sure to balance things. Make sure to keep the right perspective for the different characters. Now, your stories with a down soldier. First, remember that all works shared on the channel are copyright protected, so there is no worry. Send in your writings to WritewithMykela@gmail.com. I look forward to reading your stories on the channel. Now, we've written on this 3 times, so this is part 4. We wrote 3 times on it in season 3.1, and those were episodes 11, 27, and 35. If you remember back, the first writing prompt was to imagine a soldier that came to after a big battle. And then we went from there. We do not have a shared plot for this, but I hope you're having fun. Pause the video and write a page or 2, or at least a paragraph. A lot of writers aim for 500 words a day, I was recently in a chat room with a bunch of writers, and one said her goal was 1,200 words a day. So for you, see if you can use this writing prompt to meet your own personal writing goal for the day. Then come back and I will read what I wrote. Welcome back, writers. Now, let me read what I wrote. In the morning, the three were very hungry, so they looked around the village for some food. It seemed that whomever killed all the people in the village wasn't interested in anything the village had. And there was a chicken and a goat still left alive. Excuse me. The stores of grain were there, but there were no horses in the barn. Kamek thought, not even bodies, so the horses might still be alive. They fixed themselves some food, and then they planned to leave the village. Kamek had a cellar outside the village where he kept a few things hidden, so he headed to the cellar. He would gather the things before they left. Most saw him head away from them, and he followed at a distance. When Kamek neared the cellar door, he noticed that the stone was not on it. He sighed. He hoped, since the attackers didn't seem to take their things, that this too would be safe. But it looked like it wasn't. Still, Kamek would go down in the cellar to see if the enemies left anything or what they left. He heaved open the heavy doors. Then he looked over his shoulder to the drummer boy. I need a torch or a lantern. The drummer boy took off running. While he was gone, Most asked what was down in the cellar. Kamek shook his head to himself as he closed his eyes. Then he told Most that there were some mementos for him and his wife and his son. Then the drummer boy returned. Kamek took the torch and headed down the stairs. He glanced to each side, and it didn't seem that anyone had disturbed anything. Excuse me, my breathing is off. Then a boy in a corner raised up and said, Dad, is that you? Kamek at first raised the torch higher, and then he handed it to Most. He scooped up his son in his arms and spun around. He hugged him tightly for several minutes as tears spilled down his face. After a few minutes, Kamek set his son down and asked him what had happened. His son told him about his mom telling him to go to the cellar and not come out until she went to get him. She told him to bring Sartla with him. Where's Sartla now? Asked Kamek as he glanced back to Most. Kipling motioned to the corner where he had hidden, and Sartla slowly rose up. Kamek stood up and took the torch from Most. Most rushed forward and took his daughter in his arms, and he heaved heavy sobs into her long, fine hair. Kamek and Most both knew they had not seen the bodies of their children, but they didn't expect them to be alive. Still, they each determined to try to account for everyone before they left the village. Kamek covertly gathered some things, including a book and an amulet, and they went back to the village and started searching. Kamek told the drummer boy where to find the records for the village, and they started checking people off. They had wanted to leave the village that morning, but they would stay one more night. They didn't find anyone else alive in the village. In the morning before they left, they found a horse, so they saddled the horse. They were glad because the horse could carry more supplies, and the unicorn thought with them that he too could carry some supplies. They found another saddle for the unicorn. The two children would ride the horse, and the drummer boy would ride the unicorn. The two men led the horses. As they left the village, Most asked where they should go. Kamek said he was heading to the drummer boy's village. Most stopped walking. We can't go there. That's suicide. They will kill us once they spot us. I'm pretty sure they had just as many soldiers on the field as we did, stated Kamek. What if we find women and children who are alive? Moss wasn't sure, but he was never one to argue. It would take him 2 days to walk to the other village. Okay, writers, that is the end of what I'm adding today. Leave a comment on a question that you would ask. And I have to adjust some things because I kind of pictured Kamek's son as a thin, gangly little boy, and he wouldn't have so much strength. So those doors on that cellar probably shouldn't be so heavy. So that has to change. Or maybe he got the horse to help him open it, but then if the mom was sitting them there to go in a hurry, that detail wouldn't work. So I think the easiest fix is going to be the doors have to be light enough for the little boy to open them and let himself and the little girl down in the cellar. So I'll have to fix that. Leave a comment on a question you would ask or something that you see that would be inconsistent. Another thing I didn't add was the unicorn probably just ate grass or something, but we didn't see him eating while the others were eating, so that's a hole in the story, or it could be considered a hole. So I have to fix those things. This is a rough draft, but you get to see kind of sometimes when your brain is going and you're writing. Like when I was writing that, I just saw the doors being heavy. And then when I was reading to you, I was like, that can't work. So you see, you write, you just write. You don't worry about it. When it's flowing and you're writing, you just write everything that you see as you see it. When you go back and you read, then you kind of see how it works together with the other parts of the story. And then you edit as necessary. Fixing that door is not going to be hard. It could be an old rickety worn door, something instead that can change. That's easy fix. So leave a comment on how many words you added to your stories today. Mine was just 680 words, so not a lot, but that's okay because I added 5,000 words to Mykela book 5 today. I joined some writer friends. I have new friends, and we were doing writing sprints. It was like at the top of the hour, they're like, okay, take a breath. Okay, start again. And you just type and type, and they're over there typing and typing, but everybody's typing together, or they're editing and you're reading, whatever. Everybody's working on something. And we had this chat room that we're together. So I added 5,000 words to Mykela 5 today. So I'm really excited about that. That's a joyful experience, lots of fun. So leave what you wrote today and leave your total word count in the comments as well. Join me Friday for Chapter 2 of Eleni's Pride, Regrouping. This is Book 2. Breaking Point was Book 1 and Regrouping is Book 2. Join me Tuesday for a little jargon and adding to your story with a setting. Leave a comment below on which story is your favorite so far. It could be your favorite that you are writing or your favorite on the channel. Don't forget to visit my website, bymykela.com, and read some character bios. And send your writings and chapters to WritewithMykela@gmail.com. And leave comments on your favorite characters. If you hit the like and subscribe and the bell, then we will continue to write together. And other people will have a higher chance of finding this video and this channel, since your likes will push the video out to a greater audience. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your participation. If you know someone who would like this video, then please share it with them. This is Mykela with Write with Mykela. Bye for now.